Next man up, 1025 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly with you on your Wednesday morning. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Lots of Titans talk today. Coordinators speaking for the first time coming up at noon. So Cory will be with us for most of the show today. Going to get over there to Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. At least that's what it's named for now. And hear from Brian Dable and Gus Bradley for the first time. Cory, how's it going?
I'm adequate, Jake. I'm adequate.
Great to have you on. I know on your weekly visit with Robbie and Rex Road Monday, they went after you on Barry Sanders.
Well, we knew that was going to happen. But I told him he was as stupid then as he was last week when he was texting me. I'm like, I said it was because the Lions were terrible.
It is funny. The first 30 minutes of the show, we will usually get a text from Joe Rexrode. That's something we're talking about.
Well, he's old and cranky. I mean, get off my lawn. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about the old Pontiac Silverdome and what an absolute garbage dump that place was. All right. Oh, my phone's ringing.
There you go. It very well could have been Joe Rexrode.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah.
Titans coordinator speaking for the first time today. Brian Dable, Gus Bradley. Excited to hear from them, especially Brian Dable. Gus Bradley, less so. I mean, I think you kind of know that he's going to be the right-hand man to Robert Saleh. Saleh's going to call the defense, but Bradley, there are some things I'd like to hear from him about what his role is going to look like and maybe about some of the players that he's excited to work with. But I think Brian Dable is the one that most people are excited to hear from, especially in terms of his thoughts on Cam Ward and how he plans to develop the young quarterback for the Titans.
I feel like all these questions answer themselves.
Right.
We're going to build him from the base up. We're going to work on his footwork. That's going to fix his accuracy. We're going to cater our offense to what he does well. And the best thing we can do is have a good line in front of him and a solid run game. I don't mean to be cynical, but he's been a head coach before, so he knows how to say a whole lot.
Coach speak.
That was the beauty of Nick Holtz. Nick Holtz didn't know how to hold back.
That is true. He had never been in that situation before, so you might get something different from him. But you are right. Most of these press conferences, right, whether it's head coaches, coordinators, you're asking questions you probably already know the answers to.
Well, you're asking questions that you know what they're going to say.
Right.
You know what you want to hear. You'd like to hear something maybe you don't know, but you know that so many of them don't want to give anything away. And so they say absolutely nothing. And you can say, well, it's your job to get it out of them. And that's true. And I know, for people like, PK and, everybody, the one-on-one situation is better because they're less guarded. But you get them up there on the podium with all the cameras pointing at them, and it becomes very, very, very bland unless the person has a dynamic personality,
right?
Or is incredibly snarky like Mike Vrabel, where he's not going to say anything, but he's going to be so rude doing it. It's going to be entertaining.
To get on a quick tangent from that, did you see Mick Cronin last night?
I saw he threw one of his own players out.
He did.
Yeah.
And then post-game, he was asked about the student section for Michigan State.
Oh, boy.
And just like, what did you think about them chanting one of your players' names, who I guess transferred from Michigan State?
Yeah.
And he goes, you think I care about the Michigan State student section? And he goes, kudos to you for asking the worst question that I've ever heard. And it became a whole thing. He asked the reporter, are you raising your voice at me? Everyone can see you. You're raising your voice at me. People are wondering if he wants to get the Jerome Tang treatment and get fired.
That was my first impression last night is he trying to get fired?
Right.
Really, a guy just got fired for this, basically.
Yes.
Are you trying to get fired? I don't know. Look, he's on his way to getting fired because
the team's bad, right?
Yeah, and he's at UCLA. That school's got a history. Asking about the student section is dumb.
Right. It is not a great question, and I agree with that, but he would not let the press conference go on. He kept going back at the reporter.
Yeah, well, it's because he was trying to get it away from him.
Right.
And how stupid he was.
Kansas State would have fired him with calls by now.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about. But no, that's he's controlling the narrative by changing the subject in making it him versus the reporter
Right.
instead of him versus his player.
Right.
Probably realizing I shouldn't have done that. Because good luck getting that kid back.
I know. Not just benching him, sending him off the floor.
I could understand, coaching's tough. I love coaching in the small amounts I've done it in. I really, really enjoy it, and I enjoy it for the relationship and for the teaching aspect of it. And that's the thing you have to understand is even in those really volatile moments, there are great teaching opportunities there. And I'm sure Mick Cronin, who's coached on a much higher level than I could ever dream of, is saying, well, that's what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm teaching him. And I would argue there's a way to teach that without publicly humiliating the kid.
100%.
You put him down on the bench and you say, sit down. We're going to talk about this, blah, 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 blah. It's not the way we play. But instead, he publicly shamed him. He's on every TV show, sports show in the country this morning, getting shown off the floor, making a play on the ball, by the way. I mean, when you start embarrassing people, when you start publicly shaming them, when you start, respect is a huge word with me. When you disrespect people, because when I get disrespected, you could say it's a shortcoming with me. I don't care. I bristle. I really like, if you want me to come off the top rope, disrespect me. And I will come off the top rope. When you disrespect your players, it's hard to get them back. It's hard to get them back.
It's been a strange couple of weeks for basketball coaches, and for some coaches, it's
they make
worked.
so much money. What difference does it make?
Like Jerome Tang gets fired because he said that his team is
they didn't deserve to be there.
They didn't deserve to wear the jersey. None of them is going to be back next year.
Yeah.
And then there's Kim Caldwell calls her teams quitters.
Yeah.
Vic Schaefer calls his team soft, and it's like you see the results.
Yeah.
There was a bounce back for Tennessee for the women's team.
And for Texas.
Last night was not good for Tennessee. You could argue they played Texas and Ole Miss within 48 hours, but that's just the way the schedule worked out with that postponement earlier.
The Lady Vols are 16-8.
And they play after Texas A&M on Thursday, which should be a win. They finish the season at LSU, at Oklahoma, Vanderbilt at home.
Yeah, they're going to have double-digit losses.
That's going to be a tough finish.
They're hugely disappointing, hugely, and because they're not just losing, they're getting blurted out.
They're still going to make the tournament.
Yeah, but so what?
But it'll probably be more as an 8 or a 9 seed than where you typically want them to be, depending on how the season finishes. They could figure it out.
I like Kim Caldwell a lot, and I expected to see her team take a next step this year, and they're taking a step back.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was worried for them last year that it wasn't going to work out because she was implementing a new system with players who she didn't recruit to play that system.
Yep.
And it worked out. They made the Sweet 16. It's strange that now with more players that she thinks fits her system, that it's not working out as well.
No. And again, her whole thing with this team has been their level of fight in response to adversity. And she needs to recruit some different kids.
Yep.
If that's the case, if they're going to roll over when things get tough, she needs to recruit some tougher kids. And that's on her. That's on her. She's got to find them. You can't just find 5 stars. You got to find the right 5 stars.
Right.
And we talked about the Vandy women, when they got blurted out by South Carolina, and Shea Ralph said, this sucked, but we're going to get better because of this. And they did.
Yep.
They absolutely did. And, I think she had the same sentiment after the Georgia game.
Yes.
That was the most predictable letdown of all time.
It was, all the ingredients were there.
Oh, yes.
You're coming off 2 huge wins, and the bye week is just sitting right there. You're like, we haven't had a week off since Christmas. It's right there. And
that was the least surprised I've been by a monster upset, maybe ever.
And
I was like, yep, I'm waiting for that one.
And Georgia's a really good team. Like, they're going to be a 5 or a 6 seed most likely in the tournament.
So you didn't lose to a non-tournament team.
It's a quad 1 loss on the road. Like, it happens. but
And it was 2 points.
2 points. You had a chance to tie or win it at the buzzer.
You didn't go to Ole Miss and lose by 20.
Right. It's tough, but you get
And-
the week to bounce back here.
And by the way, the Lady Vols won the fourth quarter by like 8 points.
Yeah.
So I
And
mean,
it was never close.
They got massacred. They got mopped.
They got held to 12 points in the first quarter, and it never.
And they hit a 3 at the buzzer.
Right. Right.
So,
It was not a good night last night for
No.
Kim Caldwell, and she had a very brief handshake with Coach Yo
Oh
on the
my
way
God.
by.
There was barely time for a high five.
Very brief. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you want to text or call, our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll get back to the Titans on the other side, spending most of the first hour on the Titans today. Going to talk about the press conference later today with Brian Daboll and Gus Bradley, and the interesting idea that has been floated around this week of possibly the Titans buying a draft pick. We will get into that coming up later this hour. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game, Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly.
What is this?
Come
Parker?
on, Corey.
I don't know what this
You
is.
should know this.
I don't know this.
I know the song. I couldn't tell you who it's by.
Have you seen Moon Knight?
Oh.
What?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight?
It was a
You
show,
don't know what
a
Moon Knight
Marvel
is?
show.
Come on, you're a
No.
Marvel guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't watch that one.
Well, this was in Moon
It
Knight.
was a strange one.
Yeah. I thought it was good, though.
It was fine, yeah.
I watched Marvel Zombies.
So you watch Marvel Zombies, but not Moon Knight.
No, I didn't watch Moon Knight. There's like there's some other Marvels that I didn't watch.
I've struggled to stay with it lately.
Well, like Immortals, and believe me, I'm all about watching something with Salma Hayek in it. All right,
Yeah.
but I had no desire to watch Immortals.
didn't either.
Eternals.
Eternals. Sorry,
It was terrible.
Eternals.
I thought it was fine. That's
I
one
hated
that
it.
I didn't understand all the hate for.
What was the one with the rings?
Oh,
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I had no desire. No desire.
It's-
Because like I'm not connected to any of these heroes.
right. That was the great part about the first part of Marvel was everything tied together and you were invested in.
Well, I knew all those heroes.
Right.
I mean, so okay, I know I say this all the time. I'm 55 years old.
Yeah.
I grew up with Iron Man and the Hulk
Yeah.
and Thor and Spider-Man. I mean, these were all when I was a kid. They were comic books and then they became cartoons. And you always dreamed of the day that there would be a movie
Right.
that would be able to accurately portray it. Because they tried making some of these movies
Yeah.
and they were absolutely horrible. Horrible.
Pre CGI.
Oh, yes. It's just absolutely horrible. And now, it's the movie. And so for someone my age, they're the movies you dreamed of.
Yeah.
And you're invested and connected with all these heroes. And like I wasn't connected with Deadpool.
Yeah.
And so I never really had a desire to see Deadpool. I've seen Deadpool.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
Right.
But I'm still not connected like I am with X-Men, with Batman.
Yeah.
And I know those aren't Marvel. I know those are DC, but but with all of the older school ones, that have become reality. And so I think, the newer ones like you're talking about, like Mid-Noon Night, I'm that's for younger people because I never heard of them and I don't care.
There's been too much with the TV shows and then these niche movies they're putting out. It's like it has become a jumbled mess. I'll watch the new Avengers movie.
Well, I think there's something for everyone
right.
as well. There's obviously the new Doomsday movie, which is
Right. That's what
blockbuster.
December.
I will
December.
watch that.
Everybody in the world is in that.
Yeah.
But there's supposed to be isn't there a new Spider-Man and a new Hulk coming out?
Yeah, there's
That's
a
this
new
summer.
Spider-Man
The
this
new
summer.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to new Spider. I thought the last Spider-Man with the 3
That
Spider-Man
was great. Yeah.
was really, really, really well done. And I think there's a new Hulk movie coming out, which I've been clamoring for forever. Because there's been 2 Hulk movies, unless you want to call Ragnarok a Hulk movie. It's called Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah,
not
but he
Hulk
was
Ragnarok.
Partially.
Is Hulk in the new Spider-Man? Is that what it is?
I
He's
have
in
no idea.
something coming up.
Well, there was the Red Hulk,
Right.
Played by Harrison
Harrison
Ford.
Ford, yeah.
which was fantastic.
I
to
don't
see
think
this
Hulk's
big
gonna
red
be in
man destroy
Doomsday
the
at
White
all.
House.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Trevor on the text line asks, how do you feel about Iron Man being Doctor Doom now?
It's a good question. It's so. I mean, isn't that by plan though?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
Yes.
so-
we'll have to see how they tie it all
Yeah.
together.
So I need to see that. Robert Downey is iconic now
right.
as him. So yeah, I think it's different because I think it's gonna be for a reason. So it's not like Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool and Green Lantern,
Right.
or Ben Affleck being Daredevil and Batman. I'm sure there's a few other ones.
Chris Evans being
The Flame,
yeah,
the
Human Torch, and
the Human
being
Torch
Captain America.
Captain America, yeah. So it's I think it's different than that. I think it's smart because I think it's designed to create some outrage.
Yeah, right.
Because I mean, there's some people who love Iron Man and love Robert Downey as Iron Man.
It was a role he was born to play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could say that about a few people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he was fantastic, and so I think it's by design. I'll put it that way. I think it's designed to make you go no. no, because it's like your biggest hero turning on you.
Yeah, I'm
So-
interested to see how it all turns out.
Yeah, me
and that's
too.
in December. Big tangent there, but good stuff.
I'll take responsibility.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
you
Well
started
done,
it.
Parker.
Responsibility
That's
for it.
okay.
Titans introducing their coordinators today with Brian Dable and Cam Ward. We talked about it a little bit in the first segment that there's not going to be anything that we really don't know that's going to come out of this.
Yeah.
But I think that is the most intriguing thing is just, hey, what's the plan for the quarterback? I'm sure
Mhm.
he's going to be asked about, hey, what the Giants tried to trade up for Cam Ward last year.
Mhm.
What did you like about him as a prospect coming out? There's going to be a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of hearing from a coordinator, I think this is probably one of the more interesting ones, given where your quarterback is in his development and what Brian Dable has done in the past with young quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I'm going to sound like the old guy in the room. I'm interested to see what he's going to do with the run game. Who's going to design it? Because we saw like when Luke Stocker became like really involved in the run game last year, things got a lot better. Will Luke Stocker have a role in that, or is that just Carmen Bersillo? That's
Right.
That's his deal. I'm interested to know that as well. But what's if he has a common thread, with the young quarterbacks he's developed, whether it be Josh Allen, or Jackson Dart, or whoever, where does he start, and does the starting line change with each guy? Where does the starting spot always stay the same? That'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, 100%. And I'd also like to hear, I know most of the conversation is likely going to center around Cam Ward, but what does he think of some of the other young pieces on this offense?
Yep.
Chim Dike, Alec Eyeman, or Gunnar Helm. How does he see their role evolving as they enter year two? I think that's interesting as well, because the Titans are going to make additions with weapons on the offensive side this year. I'd be interested to know how he feels those three are going to fit into his system in year one.
Yeah, I want to know how much two tight end he's actually. I want to run two tight end 40% of the time. But I mean, how big of a part of his attack is that? Because Brian Callahan didn't have a whole lot of interest in having more than one tight end on the field, or throwing the tight end the football. And so now Chim's gone, so it's Gunner basically at this point. They need two probably.
Yeah, I would guess you probably want a veteran in free agency, and maybe you spend a late round draft pick on a tight end.
Sure. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, I could see them doing that in a lot of places. Draft one, sign one.
It might depend on how they feel about David Martin Robinson moving forward. Because if you think he is a good third tight end and you don't need another one, then maybe like an undrafted guy you could bring in as your fourth guy for camp.
Well, but you could also bring in someone to challenge him.
Right.
I mean, I like David. I like David as a person. I've gotten to know him some, and I like him as a person. I like his path. I like his build at the position. He is a big, strong, physical guy. He's not afraid to play physical.
Right.
He's as close as they've got to a blocking tight end, and he's become a core special teams player. So I do think he can be a third tight end. I think he's caught a couple passes since he's been out there. Just hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities, but they definitely need at least one more. And so I would say you need to bring at least one more. You need to bring in two. If they both make the team, great.
Yeah.
But one to make the team and one to challenge David. That's what I would do.
More eyes will be on Brian Dable today, but Gus Bradley speaking as well. I think the big thing I want to hear is just what the dynamic is going to be with him and Robert Saleh. Bradley not going to be calling plays, but I'm sure Saleh going to have to lean on Bradley a lot when it comes to being the head coach while also being super involved in the defense. I'd like to know how Gus Bradley views his role as the DC.
Well, I'm sure a lot of Gus Bradley's job is going to be, Monday through Friday, saying, all right, Robert, this, because he's going to be in the office putting the plan together,
right,
while Saleh's got his
being
hands,
the head coach.
Yes, he got his hands 17 different places,
right,
and saying this is what we're putting together. And Saleh will give his input, about what he likes and what he doesn't like. I'm sure, and I'm sure they're very, they're on the same page, which is why they're together. I mean, I think that's one of the things that Saleh likes so much about this is he knows he can hand it to Gus and it'll look like he wants it to look.
Yeah.
And so there's not that much to change. There's not that much to fight about. There's not that much.
Right.
I mean, and look, some disagreement is healthy. All right. A level of disagreement is healthy, but you also have to have a level of, there's only 4 days in the week, moving it on, because game plan's got to be in by Friday. All right. So we gotta go. And so, I think, I think that's a lot of it. And I also, I don't know how often this could happen, but if Salah got tied up with stuff in game, Bradley could take over.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
or he can say, Gus, and I'm sure that some of this goes on anyway, but I think it's different in this scenario. Gus, what do we do? We can't stop this guy. What do you think?
That's the advantage of having an experienced defensive
Yeah.
coordinator along with Robert Saleh. Is I'm sure he will feel comfortable leaning on Bradley when he needs to address other areas of the team.
And nobody looks at it as like coach doesn't know what to do.
Right.
No, it's this Gus Bradley.
Right.
And so you ask him, what do you think?
Yeah. No.
And now you still have to make that decision. You're the play caller. You still have to make that decision. But you can. I think there can be more back and forth. And I guess I should wonder if he's empowered to say, hey, Robert, we're doing this. I really think we need to switch over to this.
Yeah.
And I would guess so that would come at halftime.
Right. That's probably not an in-game thing.
It might be.
It could be.
It might be while you're on offense, but more likely at halftime, we need to start doing this. This is what I see. And I think they'll be more empowered to speak their mind. And like, I know the thing with Mike Vrabel was he wanted yes men around him.
Yeah.
He wanted coaches who would do what he said. And I'm not saying that as a good or a bad thing. I'm not saying, but that's facts. He didn't want coaches to challenge him. I was on the practice field. I saw it. Okay. He doesn't want coaches to challenge him. He wants coaches. He has a plan for everything, and he wants you to do that plan.
Right.
And if you don't do that plan, he will push you out of the way and do it for you. Okay. And I'm interested to see like how much Salah is the opposite of that. If he is.
615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Brian Dable, Gus Bradley being introduced today. First time we've heard from the Titans' new coordinators. There has been an idea floated around the social media universe this week.
That's never good.
Of reuniting Brian Dable with a quarterback that he coached back at Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa.
If you were going to say Russell Wilson, I was going to walk out. You were doing the rest of it alone.
Tua is on the way out in Miami.
Yes, he is.
The Dolphins looking for solutions to try and limit the impact it has on their salary cap. Could the Titans help them out while getting a draft pick on the way? We'll talk about it coming up next. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up. 1025 The Game. Tonight, Vanderbilt men's basketball takes on Missouri. It's an 8 o'clock tip-off, and the pregame show starts at 7:30 with Kevin Ingram and Tim Thompson on 102.5 The Game. Coverage is presented by Gary Force Acura.
Is it me, or does it still feel like Missouri should not be a part of the SEC?
They're the outlier, right?
They just don't look like they belong.
No, I agree. That's a Big 12 team hiding
Yes,
in the SEC.
or Big 10.
Like Arkansas,
Yes,
for sure,
absolutely.
SEC team, A&M, Texas, Oklahoma, you can argue it. Like
Bring back the Southwest Conference.
Yeah. I mean, Missouri just has never looked like they belong.
It's strange.
Like and it's funny because I know they've had good teams, but I just always assume they stink.
Well, and especially being like going there, this is the first season I don't have to go to Columbia, Missouri.
Good for
my
you.
first 3 years we've gone there. And that gym doesn't feel like you're in the SEC anymore.
Yeah, but they feel like they're such a big deal. Oh, the Antlers. Look out for the Antlers. Like nobody ever says, "Oh, you don't want to go to Missouri." Oh, you don't want to go to Missouri.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to go to Missouri.
But not for the reason you're talking about.
Exactly. It's the most appropriately named state in the union. Missouri.
The arena there used to be so ugly. They finally changed the seats to black, but the first year we were there, it was this ugly mustard yellow. And it was like the light in Mizzou Arena was horrible. But tonight, Vandy on the road, that's a big game for them.
It is. They got to win that one.
Got to win that one before Tennessee comes to town on Saturday. So Brian Daboll being introduced today, and there has been a rumor floating around, not a rumor, just an idea that's been floated out there of the Dolphins trying to move off of Tua Tagovailoa. And
desperately, yes.
They right now, if you cut him $99 million in dead cap, that's a third of your salary cap that would just go down the drain. So if the Dolphins were looking to get out of it, it has been floated that maybe the team with the most cap space in the league could take Tua Tagovailoa on if a draft pick was sent along with him. And the standard that is being put up is the Brock Osweiler trade, which happened back in 2017. The Houston Texans had just signed Brock Osweiler to a 4-year, $72 million deal. He was horrible in his first season, threw 16 interceptions. So they traded him to the Cleveland Browns for a future second-round pick and a 2017 sixth-round pick, and sent back a 4th-round pick. So it was a 2nd, a 6th, and Brock Osweiler for a 4th. Cleveland only took on $16 million in guaranteed salary in that trade.
Yeah.
The Titans would be taking on a cap hit of $45 million to take Tua Tagovailoa.
That's probably apples to apples now.
Yeah.
With how much the cap's gone up in a short period of time.
I don't know if it's apples to apples.
It's pretty close.
I think $16 million 8 years ago probably would equate to more like 25-ish. Yeah.
Maybe, not 30.
But it's not 45.
No, it's not but look, it's closer. I would say it's closer to what that was than not.
I think the Osweiler trade, like let's say for example,
because that was a lot then. I remember that was that was a big deal.
I think it would be similar to Sam Darnold's contract that he just got.
30
like 3 years, 30-ish million. That's probably a similar deal to what Osweiler got. He just won the Super Bowl, so obviously this isn't a discussion. But if the Seahawks wanted to move off of him, I think it would be a similar situation. Tua's is much bigger.
Yeah.
I think if the Titans were to do this, minimum, you have to get their 2nd-round pick this year, which is 43rd in the 2nd round.
No way.
I think that is minimum that you would have to get. And I still think we talked about this during the break. You're probably still paying a little bit too much money. The question is, with how you can finagle the cap and your free agent deals, you could backload them and you could maybe restructure to his contract and make the hit not so much. With the cuts that you make of L'Jarius Sneed and maybe some others, you could still have plenty of room to go sign free agents and still take on Tua's contract.
Okay.
But it's a lot of money to pay for a 2nd-round pick.
You're talking about putting $50 million on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, you're taking $50 million and you're lighting it on fire.
He'd be your backup for the year.
So you're paying $50 million to a guy who ideally you never put into the game. Okay. I'm going to pay $50 million for you not to play. Okay. This team has won 6 games in 2 years. 6 games in 2 years, this team has no starting cornerbacks.
Yep.
This team has no edge rushers. This team has no starting right guard. This team does not have a number one wide receiver. This team has an aging running back. This team needs help at tight end. This team. All right. $50 million. Even in this day and age, buys you at least 2 quality starters.
Yeah.
If not 3 starters.
Yep.
All right. So you want me to pay a guy $50 million and put him on the bench and never play and eat his $50 million, not have those 3 starters in hopes that a second-round pick isn't Femi Oladejo and pans out. All right? If I am Robert Saleh, I am like, hell no. I got to win some games here or I'm going to be out the door. This is my last shot. All right? Let's go get some ball players. I don't understand.
The flip side of that would be you have enough cap space to make this trade and still go get those players in free agency.
I have way more flexibility to get players with $50 million more.
But are you going to spend? So let's say you cut L'Jarius Sneed, you get to around $125 million in cap space. That's about where I think it ends up.
Okay,
you would still have $80 million in cap space. Are you really going to spend in this year's cap money more than $60 million? Probably not in free agency.
Maybe. You know what? I can set myself up, for down the line because Cam's going to need a new contract in a couple of years. And I don't want to be pushing money back to when that happens, because when that happens, you've seen what happened to the Chiefs. They paid Patrick Mahomes and he started losing his compadres.
Well, and they just restructured his contract this morning.
Did they?
Opened $45 million in cap space.
Because they couldn't afford to keep players.
Yep.
This is what happens when you pay your quarterback. You can't afford. The Seahawks, when they paid Russell Wilson, I think they let his entire offensive line go.
Yeah, and then they did cut him and just ate the $60 million in cap space.
And so, the Titans need to prepare themselves. And I know we're a long way from there.
Right.
But, you start pushing money down the line, and all of a sudden it's a problem. And if you don't have – I love the luxury of not having to push money down the line. I love the luxury of let's do it now. Let's do it now and be able to function normally the next 3-4 years instead of, all right, well, we got this contract, which, well, he's not on our team anymore, but he's really under contract for 2 more years. And so we're paying him not to be on our team. And so we really only have, the cap's $350 million, but we really only have $270 million. I'd like to have $350 million when that time comes.
The idea of this is only because you need good young players.
Yes, you do.
You need to find ways to get more draft picks, and
not for $50 million.
But does the money really matter that much?
Yes, it does.
When you have this much cap flexibility.
Because it's players.
Are you spending the whole amount of that money?
If I want to win games and I can find players to come and start for me, I'm going to spend it.
Is that second round pick more valuable than the extra money is the question. And I'm iffy on it. If it's a
roll of the dice
here,
you're walking into Vegas and you're putting 50 million on black. Okay. That's what you're doing.
You need more top 100 draft picks. And right now, your only options to get those are trade good players.
All right.
Like trade Jeffrey Simmons. That would get you more top 100
Then
draft
give
picks.
Me a second and a third.
Yeah. I think it would have to be more than what the Osweiler deal was.
It can't be one player. It can't be one. Number one, I want it to be their first pick.
Well, that's what I was about to say is would you do it? We talked about this during the break. If it was they send Tua and the 11th overall pick, you have to send back 101, the first pick in the on day 3 of the draft.
Well, I probably want another pick as well then. If I'm sending back 101, I want another pick as well.
It's it's an idea. It's almost certainly not going to happen.
You are doing them a favor.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is that the Titans don't have to do this.
No, you are in a power position to negotiate. You cannot lose this trade.
I think you go up and if the Dolphins want to do this, you say, hey, we're willing to relieve the money on Tua. We will take him, but we want 11.
Yep.
And start there. And there's maybe a little room for negotiation. But again, the Titans there is absolutely no pressure for them to do this deal. They only have to do it if it makes sense.
What if, okay, what pick do the Titans have in the second round?
35.
35. Okay, what if you got their first and their third?
They have 2/3, by the way.
Okay, their first and their third.
Yep.
And you took Tua. Okay, what if I got their first, their third, and their fourth, and I gave them my second?
The negotiations, I'm sure, there'd be a lot of picks that would be talked about.
Well, I need more than I don't consider Tua a player. Okay, I think this is one of the areas where we differ. I don't consider Tua a player. I consider Tua as some guy holding a clipboard on the bench, wondering when L&L Hawaiian Grill is going to come back to Cool Springs. Okay, and it's not, unfortunately, but it was my daughter's favorite place.
Yeah,
but he's not a player. He's not. Okay, he's clipboard holder. All right, and so I can't do one roll of the dice. The roll of the dice is a lot better at 11 than it is at whatever 43 or whatever. I still need more. I need more players because with 50 million, I can get more players.
I'll put some names to this on the other side and we can talk about it because again, I don't think it's going to happen, but the Titans need to find a way to find more high draft picks to build up the core of this team. The only ways to do that are trading players that you currently have or trading back and giving up maybe those blue chip guys. This could be an opportunity to add another high draft pick without having to give anything up other than cap space.
I'm not paying $50 million for one pick.
And
all right,
the text line agrees with you. I'm going to put some names to this and see if it changes anybody's mind. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 1025 The Game, Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, finishing up the first hour of the show. And we're talking about the idea that was floated out there of the Titans buying a draft pick by trading
foolhardy idea.
for
Let's
Tua
preface it.
Tagovailoa. I want to say that I think this is very unlikely to happen. I'm mostly playing devil's advocate here of this is a unique out-of-the-box way to get yourself more high-end draft picks.
Yeah, but you're talking about high-end draft pick, and I have said it's got to be picks. For $50 million, it's got to be multiple.
Well, and we read off the Brock Osweiler trade, which was the Browns got a second and a sixth. They traded a fourth to take on $16 million for Brock Osweiler.
Yeah.
I think the Titans would start the negotiations at 11, the Dolphins' first round pick.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to give up your fourth, but I get what everyone is saying of $50 million is not worth it to get a second round pick. If you could get a first, which is almost out the window, that is how you get this team accelerating in the rebuild, because not only could you take an edge in the first round, you could take a wide receiver. Like and you can fill out these needs.
You could take Jeremiah
easier.
Love at 4 if you wanted to, possibly too. It would open doors for you to do more. I agree with you that picking at 11 is much different.
Right.
But again, when we're talking about this conversation, you're talking about it as a numerical number for money. I'm talking about it as a numerical number for players.
Yeah.
All right. Because for that amount of money, I can get plural players. So in return, I need plural players. All right. I don't need one draft pick. I need multiple draft picks.
I just think the way that you can use the cap and how flexible it is, that you can make that $45-50 million you take on from Tua not be as impactful as it seems.
Yeah.
And again, you need more high-end draft picks, rookie contracts for good players. And I know you're saying it could be a bust. And right, you might look back and say it was stupid to do it. But being able to get draft picks without having to give up good players or other draft picks, like that is where this team needs to be.
Would you pay $50 million for Femi Oladejo?
No.
Would you pay $50 million for Tavondre Sweat?
Probably not.
Okay. Would you pay? Let's just go through second round picks.
But we could go through good second round picks too, right?
No. For Harold Landry, would you pay $50 million?
Yeah.
For Harold Landry.
Yes. If you got 4 years of Harold Landry on his rookie contract, that's worthy of the $50 million. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to say this is the right thing for the Titans to do. I don't think it's even.
I need AJ Brown for $50 million.
Right.
That's what I need.
And is that likely? Probably not.
No.
Is it likely that you end up taking Kevin Dodd? Let's go opposite ends of the spectrum there. Yeah, you could get AJ Brown, you could get Kevin Dodd. It's probably somewhere in the middle.
You know who else you could get?
Derrick Henry.
That's right. Derrick Henry, second round pick.
This is an unlikely idea. I'm mostly playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
But I think it's something the Titans could at least approach. You set the bar high because you do not have any the Dolphins have no leverage in this.
Yeah, it can't be one pick, Jake. It can't be one pick because it's a minimum of 3 players. Starters.
I would say it can't be one pick unless it's their first.
Well, it still has to be more.
Really?
Yes.
If they okay, let's say straight up they offered you, hey, we'll give you the 11th pick and you give us a 6th. Because there's something has to be sent back, right?
Yeah.
I think I would do that in a heartbeat. If you can get an extra top 15 pick just for money, give it to me. It's not going to happen, but
it's just there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees that guy's going to be the player that I think he is. Where if I sign veterans, I know what I'm getting. And
I don't know about that. Anybody who hits the free agent market, it's
you're right.
Higher floor,
yeah.
But the ceiling, you usually know what the ceiling is on these free agents.
But again, I can get 3 players for that, at least. Okay.
Would you take 3 middle of the road starter level free agents or Mekhi Lemon? Like that, if you could get Ruben Bain and Mekhi Lemon in the first round of this year's draft, you would take 3 middle of the road starter free agents over.
What if I
getting
could
both those
get
guys.
Alontae Taylor, Greg Newsome to start at corner for me? I mean, and then I could also get a tight end or a guard. I'm gonna take those guys. Or what if I can get Bradley Chubb? What if I can get Bradley Chubb, Greg Newsome, and Alontae Taylor, all for that $50 million price tag?
The only argument I'm making is it doesn't have to be either or, right? You have enough money that you could sign a bunch of those players and make this deal. Very unlikely it's going to happen, but I think it's at the very least, it's worth the Titans kicking the tires.
I need more players. 1 and 3. Give me your 1 and a 3.
Dolphins, I have a feeling they would say, you know what, we'll just eat the $99 million.
Well, I'll move off the 6th round pick. I'll come up to a 4. You can have the 4th. You can have the first pick of the 3rd day.
So you get a first and you trade up from the 4th to the 3rd.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love it. I just don't know. I don't know if it's possible. Kyle in Shelbyville says we could revamp our entire cornerback room with $50 million.
I just said that.
$50 million. We're acting like this is all the money the Titans have. Like that's
it's half. It's half of what they have.
Depending on how you use it.
Yes.
Like you backload contracts. You
they need
restructure
so
some
many
deals.
players, Jake.
I get it. You could still go out and spend $60 million in free agency and get this extra pick.
Yeah, and I don't want to backload every deal because I've got to pay Cam eventually.
You do make the point of the second round pick could be a bust. Couldn't these free agents that you're spending the $50 million not work out on as well?
They could, and I can get rid of them in a year.
That's fair.
And also, I like my chances when I have 3 of them that at least one of them is going to pan out.
Yeah.
All right. As opposed to just one pick. That's what I'm talking about. I need more than one.
I just think you need more top 100 picks in total.
I don't disagree with that.
And getting one without having to give up a player is
okay. Let me put it to you in this way. If I said, hey, we're going to give up both starting corners and our starting right guard, and we're going to move up to 11.
I see what you're saying of you could use that money there, but you don't only have $50 million. That's the point I'm making. Is
I understand the point that you're making. I'm trying to put it in a player perspective.
I get it. I get it. I think it's not an either or. You can do both. You can still go get those players in free agency and do this because of the flexibility that you have.
Nothing is free. Nothing is free. There is always a price to be paid, whether you can't afford something else or that bill comes due later. All right. And again, to me, the flexibility this gives you is paying these guys now and not having to push money down the road.
Yeah.
Because look, this team hasn't re-signed anybody in a long time. Okay. Ideally, you got some guys that you're going to re-sign. And you know what I'd like to have? The room to do it so that I don't have to tell Jack Conklin, you're too expensive, you have to leave.
That's fair.
AJ, we're going to trade you to Philadelphia because we don't want to pay you that money. All right? I want that room, okay? That's what I want.
It's a fair conversation. And I think this idea is almost...
Chet just tied up the Canadians.
Oh, wow. 1-1. Canada on the power play, though.
Okay.
We'll keep an eye on the Olympics. The idea is very far-fetched, and I would put the chances of it happening.
Happened before.
It's happened before with Brock Osweiler. I'd put the chances of it.
Browns.
The Browns and Texans. I'd put the chances on it at like 5%.
Okay.
But I do think it's worth at least a conversation.
It would be interesting to hear from Mike Borgonzi if it is a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, was any conversation had either with the Dolphins or just with you and Reggie and all the other guys in the room?
Kicking it around saying, could this be a possibility?
And what would we need at a minimum?
Right. And that's what the Titans can go into these negotiations, set the price high and say, all right, if you can't meet that, we'll be fine. We don't have to spend that much money. 615-737-1025. We'll get to your phones on the other side. We'll also continue to talk Titans. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, hour number 2 coming up here on Next Man Up, 1025 The Game. Second hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you on your Wednesday morning, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Fun first hour. Spent most of it debating the idea of could the Titans trade for Tua Tagovailoa to basically buy a draft pick. And let's start the second hour. Buy a or multiple draft picks. Let's start the second hour going to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Adam in Portland is called in. Adam, good morning. Thanks for calling.
Jake, I'd love to support you here, but it's one of the wilder things you've ever said that you're fighting for. So it'd be like finding $1,000 on the street and going and buying lottery tickets with it. Like, why would you do that, man?
I like that, Adam. Well done.
Well,
Are second-round picks lottery tickets?
Yes.
Really?
100%.
Scratch and
you
wins.
never know what you're going to get in the second, dude, especially with the Titans history. Like, we are known for screwing up second-round picks. So we've only done well at it like 2 or 3 times ever. So, no, dude, absolutely. You just now get some money and you want to give it away. Wild. Wow, I can't believe it. You're saying we should kick the can. I'm sitting here punching my steering wheel. Like, what are you talking about? So, no, Jake, absolutely not.
I am not saying this is the greatest idea ever. I'm just putting it out there as a way for the Titans to add more high draft capital without having to give that much up because you have so much cap flexibility.
I think that's where we differ. You think they're not giving that much up, and I do. And I understand you're saying because of their cap flexibility, they can spread it out, and
they're a team that's in position to be able to do this.
And I don't want to spread it out. I want to stay flex. I'm flex. I want to stay cap strong. I want to be able to do what I want to do and not have to twist the numbers every which way, to make it work. And again, I want to be in position to re-sign good players when I actually draft some. So that would be nice. Now you actually have to draft some, so you've got to have picks. I'm with you there, brother. I am. But like he said, one player, that's a lottery ticket.
And I would disagree that a second round pick is a lottery ticket.
It's a scratch and win.
It's probably
your chances of winning are better, but it's not the Powerball.
It's probably less than a coin flip. Like, I'd say first round picks are usually about a coin flip of depending on where you're picking, right? Like, of whether they're going to turn into.
Well, let's see. Just go back to the 2016 draft when they drafted Derrick Henry.
Yes,
he was their second round pick,
and
Kevin Dodd was their first one,
right?
And he was maybe the worst second round pick in team history.
Austin Johnson was the second, and he was fine.
I liked Austin, and he was a durable run stopper. He was overdrafted.
Yes,
in the second
for where
round.
He was picked. He didn't.
But he was a guy who contributed to this team winning games. But again, you wouldn't pay $50 million for Austin Johnson. Now you would pay $50 million for Derrick Henry. But again, that's 1 out of 3. You drafted 3. You got 1 who hit as a big time player.
You need more throws at the dartboard. It is where this team is right now.
Ridiculous price for a throw at the dartboard.
I'm not saying they should do it. I'm saying it should be something they at least kick around. And if you don't get the price back that you feel is worthy, then don't do it. I think you have to set your price high and say, if they meet it and it becomes worth it for us, then sure.
But again, you're talking about one pick over and over again. And I'm like, that's not a high price. That's a gift.
Depends on what the pick is. I wouldn't do it for a second straight up.
Look, if you were in the top 5, yeah, but
I think
11's good, but it's a start.
I'd pay $50 million for the 11th overall pick.
No, we differ. We differ.
The point that you're making about wanting to have flexibility down the road to extend your players, I totally get that. And that's where I think Mike Borgonzi and his front office need to have a conversation about, if we did do this, how long does it hamstring us?
Yeah.
And if Cam Ward turns into at that point, $60 million a year quarterback, are we going to be in trouble at retaining the rest of our roster if we do it?
Yeah, look, if we see where Cam is headed and he's going to be that guy, can we re-sign J.C. Latham if J.C. Latham becomes the player we think he can be?
Right.
Or do we have to let him go and let our offensive line go? Because, by the way, Dan Moore's only got really 1 more year.
Yes.
And then you got to find a tackle. Now, whether you draft him or you sign somebody else, or maybe you decide to keep him, because he does have a 4-year deal, you're probably going to have to pay up at somewhere along the line on that spot too. And so, all these bills come due. Jim Dike is going to need a new deal eventually.
You need to extend Jeffrey Simmons. You need to extend Peter Skoronski.
Yep.
You hope to extend J.C. Latham. So
Yep.
that is a lot of money that is coming down the pike.
And I understand that the cap. Oh, Chetch is in the lead.
Yes, check you up 2-1 with 5 minutes left.
And I understand that the cap is flexible. I do, but you don't need to put yourself behind the 8 ball if you don't have to. All right. And again, this team needs starters. They need guys to come out and play. And I'm not advocating a quick fix for this team. I think the draft and develop is the way to go for long-term success. You saw the Washington Commanders get the quick fix. They really hit it in free agency.
They traded for Laramie Tunsil, signed Von Miller,
and all these one-year guys really hit. And then you saw what happened this year when it didn't really hit. It was bad. And that's one of the things with the Patriots. Patriots, the 30 new players this year.
Yep.
And we'll see what it is next year. It might be just as good, but they hit on a lot of guys who were able to help them out against a soft schedule. So I agree with you. They need high-end young players, but they also need players. And they've got the money to get some players and help those young players they have be better players.
615-737-1025. This is the type of conversation that you have in the time between the Super Bowl and free agency when there isn't any actual stuff going on. So we got to go to hypotheticals.
Yeah, you haven't even talked about the uniforms yet.
That's what's coming up next.
Oh, okay.
Titans rebrand. It's the big story of the week. We'll do that next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Preds fans, Smashville Live, presented by Gary Force Acura, returns tonight at 6 p.m. on 102.5. The Game, live from Brewhouse South in Cool Springs. The special guest this week is General Manager Barry Trotz. Make sure you tune in or head on out there. It's tonight at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs and only on 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you, keeping an eye on this quarterfinal matchup, Canada and Czechia. Czechia.
It was almost 3-1.
They're up 2-1, and on the power play, Tom Wilson sitting down in the box.
All right, I found a 42-inch TV on Marketplace for $80. All right, we need a bigger TV
to be able to watch this Olympic hockey.
My eyes are old.
The U.S. plays later on this afternoon, just after 2 p.m. Against Philip Forsberg.
I'm a little concerned.
And the Swedes. I am as well. That is not a great matchup for a quarterfinal game.
No, what if we lose in the quarterfinals?
What if Canada and the U.S. both lose in the quarterfinals?
What if it's Czechia and Slovakia in the championship?
Right. Slovakia moved on this morning, beating Germany big, 6-2, 6-3.
They dropped it on them.
So they have moved on to the semis. If the U.S. wins, they will play Slovakia tomorrow or Friday, excuse me. We've got Philip Forsberg with the Swedish flag from the Preds bobblehead on the desk. Might have to remove that if things get bad today over there in Milan. Let's talk about the Titans uniforms.
Okay.
The rebrand has been.
We know
nothing about the uniform. We do know the
logo.
Sources have confirmed, Easton Freeze reporting for A to Z Sports, that the logo that was on the plush football that was leaked on Fanatics is a new mark for the Titans. So we know there is some sort of rebrand coming. Jim Wyatt has hinted at it in his mailbags as well, basically saying, I cannot comment on a new logo or new uniforms. What are your thoughts on going back to a more Oilers-centric color pattern and maybe getting rid of the flames on the logo?
Look, I'm not married to any of it, okay? I do think that you're the Titans, and I understand the people not wanting to get away from being the Titans. And that doesn't – I don't think the Flames is necessarily the Titans. But I think the color pattern is, the two-tone blue. The two-tone blue. And this is my opinion. No one has told me this. This is just me. When I see what happens – this is what I see. I see the Oilers go for H-Town blue. Okay.
Yeah.
And I see Amy get really cheesed about it.
Especially because 2 out of the 3 times you've worn the Oilers throwbacks were losses to the Texans.
Bad ones. And you hear all the noise out of Houston that they want the Oilers and blah, blah, blah. They didn't want the Oilers when they were there, so they can eat it.
For sure.
All right. But I think, my opinion, this is a direct response on Houston's assault on wanting the Oilers and them going back to no, you can't have the Oilers.
We are the Oilers.
We are the Oilers, and we're going to put it in your face. And so what did we see last year when what uniform did they wear over and over again last year?
The quote-unquote Titans blue.
The Titans blue. And in years before, we saw a different uniform combination every week. Last year, it was the same every week, and it was getting you ready. This is the new color. This is it. This is the predominant color. This is what you're going to see. This is what's going to be in the new uniform.
Yep.
Okay. And I think it is all directed at Houston wanting the Oilers and her saying, you're not going to get the Oilers now. You're not going to give them out ever. And you're not going to steal our uniforms for some kind of throwback because these are our uniforms now.
Yeah.
So you absolutely are not. And so I could be wrong on that. I don't think it's just some, hey, fans really, really like the Oiler throwbacks because, I mean, fans always like alternate uniforms and you sell those uniforms and everything. I think it's a direct shot, a direct clapback, whatever you want to call it, at Houston. That's what I think it is.
You know that Amy hates losing to Houston.
Yeah, coaches get fired for it.
Right. They went 0-2 against Houston this year. Last year, they lost to Houston in the Oilers uniforms at home. They did beat them in Houston, one of 3 wins back in 2024, but lost to Houston in the Oilers uniforms 2 years ago. I could see that. I could see this being just a try and shove it in the McNair's face of we have the Oilers history, we have the Oilers uniforms, and you're never getting it back.
Well, just stop. Just stop. I mean, just stop. I mean, come on. Just stop. I mean, Is St. Louis still clamoring for the Cardinals?
Yeah.
No, because you know why? Because they left. All right. I remember I was a little baby sportscaster back then, and I remember when Houston looked like they were going to leave, and they had a Save the Oilers rally downtown. 8 people showed up. It was like 8 people, and it was not a good looking group. Okay, and I was just like, I remember being like seeing that, going, "Come on, they don't care."
Yeah.
They didn't care. The mayor didn't want to work with Bud on a new stadium, and the moment he left, he spent $2 billion or whatever it was on Reliance Stadium. So you can blame Bud all you want. The city dug its own grave. I have been in the Astrodome. It is the biggest dump you've ever seen in your entire life. And the fact that they played professional football in there for as long as they did was criminal.
Yeah.
And you could say, well, the owner should have bought a new stadium. That's not reality for every owner. It's not. Some owners want to own their own stadium, like Jerry Jones, because he realizes all that money is mine now.
Yeah.
And that's the way I'm going to handle it. Some people just want to be renters. The Spanos and the Chargers, they don't want to build a stadium. They just want to be renters.
Yep.
That's their prerogative. That is their business people. That is their prerogative. And if Bud doesn't want to spend $2 billion, because it is a partnership between cities and teams. It's a partnership. Whether you own the team or not. But I'll tell you what, if you let the team own the stadium too, you're not tied to them at all. I mean, does Jerry have a lease to stay in Dallas, or can he leave whenever he wants?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's something to that. All right. And so Houston can eat it. They just can. And, it's a ridiculous request and a naive request and a naive possession. I mean, because even like when Warren Moon is on your side, you're in pretty good standing. I mean, it's not FOMO, but it's like you guys blew it,
right?
All right? It's like wanting to get back together with your ex.
Yeah.
No,
former Oilers players aren't going out and being honored guests at Texans games.
No, because they're not Texans.
Right.
They're not. And they told the Oilers to leave. All right. If you didn't want the Oilers to leave, should have asked them to stay. No one asked them to stay. 8 people did. 8 people. Okay. So, I don't hate the city of Houston. I used to live in Houston. I covered the Texans their first year in the league. They were absolutely putrid. But I enjoyed my time there. But they're way off base on this one. And again, I think this is a direct shot at that.
The Titans rebrand has gotten mixed opinions on our text line the last couple of days. Lots of people saying they love it, marrying the old to the new, and the Oilers look is great. A lot of people on the other side are saying, we're not the Oilers, we're the Titans. Why are we getting rid of the Navy? And I know D. Mace was very adamant, don't get rid of the Navy. I saw you put out a poll the other day.
I can pull the results up to that.
I looked at it last night when I was getting ready for the show, and it looks like, at the very least, most fans that at least saw your poll.
2/3.
Yeah. Like it or love it.
315 votes.
Pretty good sample size.
So you can sample size. 65% like it or love it. 40% love it. 25% like it. 22% meh. And that's where I stand.
So that's 87% of fans, at the very least, aren't against it.
Yes, 13% bring back the Flames. And again, that's the issue with social media, is quite often you get a very vocal minority.
Yep.
People get vocal when they get angry. And look, I understand, if you like the Flames, you like the Flames. I'm not angry with you for it. If you like this logo and everything, then you like it. It doesn't mean I have to agree with you. Like, I agree with what Paul said. It's just very flat.
Yeah, and it's on a plush football.
Yeah.
It's like, let's wait and see what the whole rebrand looks like.
Yeah, because I've seen it on the white helmet, and I've seen it on the white helmet with white stars, and I've seen it on the white helmet with red stars. And I'm like, okay, the red stars, that punches a lot more.
Yeah.
I've seen it, with the point and without the point. It'll be interesting to see what the final thing is. I do think it will look very Oilers when it's over.
I agree. And it's funny, everybody getting up in arms over one logo on a plush football that we've seen.
Well, that's the design. That's what I mean. If you think this was leaked by accident, you're crazy.
Really? You think it's on purpose?
Dude, it's 5-6 days later and we're still talking about it.
On a plush football is hilarious though. Like I was thinking
when they did the last uniforms, there was a leak that came out on social media.
Well, I remember that it was somebody took a picture of the jersey sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think it was on purpose. I think it was an actual leak, but I also think the Titans probably enjoy the buzz around it.
So you're saying they're not that smart?
I think Fanatics is just that dumb.
Oh.
Like I think Fanatics, they've leaked multiple uniforms since they became the official partner of the NFL.
And you don't think that those are by design?
It's possible. I think if the Titans were trying to leak the logo on purpose, it would have been on a hat or something like that and not on a plush football.
I could be wrong, but again, I think they know, like, you can release it all in one day and it's a topic for a day or two. I mean, it's Wednesday, Jake. This came in Friday.
Yeah.
And we're still talking about it.
That's a good point.
They know that. I've talked with people over there who are still there from when they brought this new uniform out. And when I brought up the leak, they just kind of smiled at me.
Okay.
And so, again, it could be a leak. I would bet against it was not a designed leak. I might lose my money, but I would feel good about that bet.
I am excited to see what the whole product looks like.
Yes.
And I would say everybody just keep your powder dry until we actually see what it looks like.
I think a lot of the mock-ups are probably pretty close.
Yes. I mean, if you know the color scheme and you have a good idea what the logo is going to look like,
and you know what the Oilers look like,
you can put together a pretty accurate depiction of what the uniform might look like. But we just don't know until we see everything. So everybody needs to take a step back. Don't freak out yet. Maybe there is an alternate that looks more like the current Titans uniform.
And by the way, you know what really matters? Winning games. That's what really matters. Winning games. And no matter how bad or good the uniforms are, they still won't be as bad as the Jaguars.
Well, that people are comparing the Titans rebrand to the Jaguars rebrand of they went with the multicolor helmet,
the black and
gold. it was so horrible. They just went back to basic black helmet. We're gonna have 3 color jerseys and that's it. People are saying the Titans are doing a similar thing after
maybe
the navy helmet and the swords on the shoulder pads.
I didn't hate the swords and the shoulder pads. I liked the gray edition. That was me.
Those jerseys.
I'd like the helmet to be like steel.
So there is a rumor it could be a silver helmet too. We don't know.
Not silver, steel.
Oh, okay.
Like steel, because you talk about wearing like a Titan wearing a helmet.
Okay, yeah.
And so because I had Chat GPT and I said, build me a Titans uniform that looks like a suit of armor. And it built it, and it literally was like a suit of armor. And then I said, okay, make it look more like a football uniform. And then it just looked like the Titans uniform. And I was like, okay, we're not cooperating here.
Well, they do have the rivalry uniforms coming out this year too, which as we saw in the first depiction, that it's going to be, those are more unique uniforms. I wonder if maybe,
what was the first depiction? I don't remember.
Like, so last year, the NFC West and the AFC East had their uniforms. Yeah. They were all kind of like off the wall a little bit, out of the box.
Yeah, they were almost like the Color Rush though too.
Yeah, they were Color Rush, but they all had their own unique little details to it. So the Titans could go with something like that as their rivalry uniform.
Every time the Titans had Color Rush, they'd play the Jaguars, and it looked just like Kirk playing Spock. I mean, because it was the exact 2 colors of the Star Trek smocks that they wore, the mustard yellow and the powder blue. And every time that they would play, I would post that picture of Spock and Kirk together.
There is nothing like a Thursday night football game, Titans Jags in Color Rush uniforms.
I can't tell
Marcus Mariota versus Blake Bortles.
I can't tell you how many Thursday night Titans Jags games I've been to. A lot. A lot.
I mean, there hasn't been one in a couple of years. The last one might have been 2019 when Gardner Minshew beat the Titans in week 3.
Gardner Minshew.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. You can text or call. Coming up next, there was a list released yesterday from Bleacher Report ranking the top 99 quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
In NFL history. Number 99 has drawn a lot of attention, not just around here, but also nationally. We'll talk about it coming up next. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Today, Vanderbilt baseball takes on Eastern Michigan at Hawkins Field at 4:30. You can catch all of the action on 94.9 The Fan and the Game Nashville app. Coverage is presented by Gary Force Acura. Yesterday, Bleacher Report released a ranking of the top 99 quarterbacks of all time. I want to start here with number 99. Yeah, Fernando. The Indiana fans are thrilled.
He's not in the top 99.
He is not yet. Not yet. He has a chance though.
He will be after his rookie year, baby.
So the 99th ranked quarterback, according to Bleacher Report, is none other than Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
And this got a lot of attention from people. I had friends texting me who aren't Titans fans from out of town saying, "Can you believe they have Ryan Tannehill as number 99?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I'd have to dig deeper on where he stands. Here's where Ryan Tannehill stands all time. He is 38th all time in passing yards and 43rd in passing touchdowns. He's reached an AFC championship game, 4 playoff berths, and he retired at what, age 34?
Yeah, not that old.
I'm willing to say he might be too low.
Oh.
At first I was like 99 kind of seems about right for him. I'm not saying he's a top 50. Like, you don't just go straight off passing yards and passing touchdowns. You've got to show the impact and what he did.
Say, when he got to the AFC Championship game, tell me about the 2 games that got him
get
there.
Less than 100 yards. 99, it's not far off. I would say, though, that you could argue he may be too low.
I'm not offended by it. Either way, I'd have to see the other names. All right.
It's a long list.
Yeah.
There's a lot of black and white photos in here. Maybe I'm just
who
saying,
are some of the guys that aren't listed?
They don't have I don't think they have an honorable mention list. I can check.
Yeah. Who are some of the guys who missed out, that aren't on the list, I don't know. I'm trying to come up with some obscure quarterbacks. Like, is Jim Harbaugh on the list?
Well, it's like this one I struggle with. Number 70, Dutch Clark.
Yeah, well, yeah, you never watched Dutch play.
His record is unavailable. They don't know what his record was. His career stats: 1,500 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, 26 interceptions. He completed 46% of his passes. He had 2,700 yards, 36 touchdowns, 0 fourth quarter comebacks, and 0 game-winning drives.
But he got in there at 70, huh?
Yes. 1931 was when he joined the league. The Flying Dutchman.
Okay.
That's where I struggle with this. Is like, I know you can't go strictly off. He's top 50 in passing touchdowns and passing yards. Right. The errors are different. The game was played differently.
Yeah.
But I think Ryan Tannehill deserves to be
But I'm gonna guess that there are some quarterbacks that, like Steve Grogan. Remember Steve Grogan from the New England Patriots?
Yeah. The name probably wasn't alive, but
he was. He was a starter for a long time in the 70s and 80s.
So here's 90 through 99. We can go Jim Everett, number 90.
Okay.
I think the one thing I remember from him is trying to fight Jim Rome.
Jim Rome, that's staged.
91 is Trent Green. 92, Burt Jones.
Burt Jones could sling it.
Justin Herbert, 93.
Okay.
Kerry Collins, 94.
Yeah, look, Kerry Collins got 60,000 yards.
40,000.
Okay.
40,000 yards, 208 touchdowns,
Offensive coordinator
picks.
at Summit High School, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I did know that.
Yeah.
Played 17 seasons. He went to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Fifth
pick of the draft.
I can understand Kerry Collins. Jeff Hostetler, 95.
Okay. He was a part-time starter.
Craig Morton, 96.
Denver. Yeah. Denver before Elway.
97, Mark Rippon.
Ugh.
And 98 was Danny White.
Yeah. These are guys who were only starters for a few years. Danny White was a punter for a long time in Dallas.
Yeah.
When Roger Staubach was I'm old enough to remember this. Roger Staubach was the starter and Danny White was the backup and the punter. And actually was a pretty good punter. And then when Roger finally retired, Danny White took over.
Yep.
And Danny White had some good years.
He won a Super Bowl. Won 67% of his games. His Super Bowl may have been as the backup.
Yeah, no, he was a backup. Yeah, he was the backup.
Yes.
He never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Danny White does not have any rings as a starter.
No.
In here. I would think Ryan Tannehill, I would say, actually probably deserves to be on the list. Maybe 99 is about right, but
Well,
I think you could argue that he could be a little bit higher.
I might put him ahead of some of those guys. Now, what hurts him is he didn't elevate his team.
Yes.
I feel like his team elevated him. When he had good teammates, he was very good. And when he didn't have such good teammates, he wasn't so good. And when the team needed him to go win the game, he couldn't do it.
He did sometimes, but not in the biggest moments. Of course, the Bengals playoff game is the one that you're going to look at.
Well, or the Ravens playoff game or the Chiefs playoff game. You
Right.
needed him to go win those games.
Yes, I get what you're saying. In the playoffs, yes.
Yes, you needed him to go win those games.
He did have some very memorable game-winning drives in the regular season, for sure.
He had some very good time. That's to say, he was a good quarterback.
Yep.
And I'd have to see the guys who didn't make the list.
Yeah, I wish they had an honorable mention here, but there isn't a list of like 100 through 105 or something like that.
Who didn't make the list. That's again what I would like to see. David Woodley on the list. I don't know. There's Doug Williams on the list. Doug Williams won a Super Bowl.
Doug Williams was on the list. He's 84.
Yeah. I mean, see, but the thing, you've got all these Redskin quarterbacks who were like the starter for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Rippon, he was a short starter for a really short period of time.
Yeah. And it sounds like 99 is a very select group. Like 99 is a pretty big group in terms of quarterbacks who played for multiple years in the NFL. Like 99 is a pretty big group.
Yeah. Like I of those, I would probably move Cory up higher of the ones that I heard.
Yeah. That we listed off.
Yeah.
I want to see, have you looked at the list in full?
No, I haven't.
All right, I'm going to see if you can guess the top 10 on the other side.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
All right.
615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. We'll wrap up hour number 2 when we come back here on Next Man Up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game, Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Finishing up the second hour on this Wednesday. Let's give something away. Be quick. Caller number 1 at 615-737-1025 wins a 4-pack of tickets to AU Pro Basketball at Municipal Auditorium this Friday at 5:30. Caller number 1, 615-737-1025 to win tickets to AU Pro Basketball Friday at 5:30. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Looking through the top 99 quarterbacks in NFL history, according to Bleacher Report, they did a poll of multiple voters, and they put together this list. Ryan Tannehill being ranked 99th was a headline around here yesterday, and
Sure.
I don't hate it. I think maybe a little higher, but I think he deserves to be in that conversation. Can you guess who the top 10 are? I want to see how close.
How many misses do I get? Do I get 3 strikes?
Yeah, let's say you get 3 strikes here. So see if you can get 10.
All right. Well, Peyton Manning,
Manning is number 3.
Joe Montana.
Montana's 2.
Oh, we have a winner.
There we go.
All right. Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is number 7.
Oh, all right.
3 for 3.
All right. I'm going to say Tom Brady's number 1.
Tom Brady's 1.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's there we are. This guy better be in the top 10. John Elway.
Elway is 6.
Okay.
So you got half of them.
All right.
I will say 3 of the 5 you have remaining are more recent era. 2 are
Older
a little earlier.
How about Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers is number 5.
Okay. So I'm 1 through 6, right?
You're missing 4.
Okay.
You've got 1 through 7 without 4.
Okay. What am I missing there? I said Montana. Yeah. Sorry, I'm racking my brain.
This one you'll probably be like, duh, when you.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just my brain is not working right now, and that's fine. I'll get there.
I can see where you would forget him though, because this exercise is looking to the past.
Is Marino in there?
Dan Marino's number 10. So you are still perfect with 3 remaining.
Okay. I had one in my head a second. Is Roethlisberger in there?
He is not. No Ben Roethlisberger. Number 1. You got 2 more.
I got 2 more strikes. I know I don't have all day.
I'll give you a hint. One of them is still playing.
Okay. Oh, is it Patrick Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes is number 4.
Okay. And I guess that's why I'm not thinking of, because I'm thinking of guys who are still playing.
Yes. So that's what I was. You're thinking of the past. He's a current player. So Mahomes is 4. You're missing 8 and 9.
8 and 9. And I missed on Roethlisberger.
Both have won 1 Super Bowl.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a big hint. Because I was thinking about Dan Fouts, who could just sling it.
I don't have the how close you are on the other ones, but
okay, like it can't be Terry Bradshaw.
Not Terry Bradshaw. I believe he was 12.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Or maybe he was top 15. I know that.
That's too high. That's way too high. That's way too high. It's not Joe Willie.
Nope.
It's not Len Dawson.
Nope.
It's not Jim McMahon.
Nope. McMahon, I think, was like 85.
Well, he got sidetracked. He got sidetracked by getting body slammed. It's not Steve Young.
Steve Young is number 9.
Oh,
yep.
Wow.
Steve Young is number 9.
Wow.
So you're just missing number 8.
That's the number. I have 2.
You have 2 strikes left. Yep.
I have 2 strikes left. So I'm trying to come up with this. Jake Delhomme is not it.
Jake Delhomme. No, it is not Jake Delhomme.
No, I know it's not.
Kidding.
What other teams have won the Super Bowl? Gosh, I'm just. Oh, Kurt Warner.
Not Kurt Warner.
Oh,
I think he's up there, but he is not number 1 or number 8.
I'm all about Kurt Warner.
That is a good guess.
The Kurt Warner haters and I can absolutely go to war.
He went to 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, it's not Fran Tarkenton. He didn't win it.
No.
It's not Jim Kelly because he didn't win it, and it's not Tommy Kramer. Just to get another Vikings quarterback. Gosh, I'm just rolling through players. What other teams won the Super Bowl?
It's moderately recently.
Yeah,
like 20 within the last 20 years.
It's not Brad Johnson. I know that.
No, it's not.
It's not Brad Johnson. I give up.
Drew Brees.
Oh, yeah, I should have remembered.
Drew
that.
Brees
Yeah.
is number 8.
Yeah.
So those are your top 10.
That didn't even cross my mind. Steve Young was the toughest one for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think it was going to be him because he didn't start that long.
Yeah, that is true.
He totally flamed out in Tampa, and then there's a lot of Sam Darnold there.
You could say that.
And that Tampa did that to a few people. Vinny Testaverde as well. Bears used to beat the tar out of Vinny Testaverde. But yeah, okay.
So
where was Roethlisberger 11? You said.
Let's see. I think Unitas was 11.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
He was. So Johnny Unitas was 11, 12 Otto Graham.
Okay.
13 Fran Tarkenton.
Wow.
14 Bart Starr. 15 was Terry Bradshaw. Roethlisberger was 16.
See, Roethlisberger was way better than
Warner
Starr
was 18.
Yeah, and Warner was better than those guys.
Aikman 19.
Look, I know Terry Bradshaw won Super Bowls, but he was not the quarterback that those guys were. He was on an elite team.
Yeah.
A team loaded with Hall of Famers. And I'm not sitting here saying Terry Bradshaw was bad, but he was on a team loaded with Hall of Famers.
Where do you think Matthew Stafford would rank?
I think he's top 30.
They have him 20.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, you don't think of Matthew Stafford. Just,
I was going to say
off the top of your head,
first,
I don't think you think of Matthew Stafford as a top 20 quarterback ever.
Because he got lost all those years in Detroit.
Right. But he is a Super Bowl champion, now an MVP.
Yeah.
He has 64,000 passing yards, 423 touchdowns with less than 200 interceptions. I think it's deservedly so.
Well, look, when you compare like him and Ryan Tannehill, he is elite.
Yes.
He is elite. He makes elite throws. He comes up big in huge situations. He is elite. And that's why when you're talking best quarterbacks ever, he can come up in the conversation. And this isn't me being against Ryan Tannehill, but he can't.
Yeah, Tannehill for sure is not.
To me, if you're going to be one of the top 100 quarterbacks of all time, you probably should have been one of the top 5 in the game at some point when you played.
Yeah, that's fair.
And maybe that's too much of a standard.
I guess it just depends on your era, right? Because depending on different eras, the quality of quarterback is different.
Where's Dan Fouts?
Dan Fouts.
Like I said, because Dan Fouts could throw the football.
Control F is holding up this program now.
Okay.
Dan Fouts.
If he's not in the top 40, I'll be.
He is number 23.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. He needs to be there. What about? It's supposed to turn into a what about segment. Stan Diego Humphreys went to a Super Bowl, threw for a lot of yards.
Nope.
I might have Stan Humphreys
over Tannehill.
He's been to the Super Bowl. He had some really good years.
It is funny, like the Tannehill line, because he's the last one on the list. Yeah. It's like, who would you have above him? Who would you have below him?
There are other players on there.
Yeah.
That I would say that about. Because I said like Neil Lomax was a starter for a long time for the Cardinals and threw for a lot of yards. Is Jake Delhomme in there?
I don't think so.
No, Dave Craig.
No.
How about Dave Craig? Dave Craig threw for 1 billion yards. Never won anything, but he threw for a lot of yards. And you could argue
72.
So like Jake Delhomme would be an argument.
Ricky does say Tannehill was top 5 for a season. I think you could make an argument there of was it 2020?
Yeah, the year where AJ went for 1,000 and Corey Davis came up just short of 1,000.
Yeah, I think you could make that.
And I think Jonnu went for or was that John? Yeah, it was Jonnu
who
went for 500 or 600, and Derek was toting the rock.
That year, I think you could make an argument that he was the year he won comeback player of the year.
Okay.
The year he won comeback player of the year was the AFC Championship year. Tannehill in 2020. Maybe it was 2021, because I know he had a year where he had like 70% completion.
Yeah, and he came up just short of the 4,000, which the Titans have still never had.
Yeah, I don't know, but yes, there was a year there where you saw all of the graphics, and it was like Tannehill versus Mahomes over the last 17
Yes,
games,
yeah.
and you could make an argument of like,
Yeah. Okay. I'll buy that one.
did want to mention two other Titans/Oilers that were on the list.
Oh no, there's a whole bunch of them.
Well, yeah, right. Sorry. There are other, like Matt Hasselbeck is on there, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say guys remembered mostly for their time with the Titans or Oilers.
Okay.
Warren Moon, 21.
Yeah.
Steve McNair, 45.
George Blanda.
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
My mind doesn't go back that far.
Yeah, George Blanda's got to be on the list.
He is 54.
Yeah. Two guys that you wanted to see throw the football, Warren Moon, Dan Fouts.
Yeah.
Both of those guys threw as pretty of a ball as you'll ever see. Both Pac-10 guys. One went to Oregon, one went to Washington. And Moon, if he hadn't played his first 6 years in Canada, where he won 5 Grey Cups,
Right. Who knows where he would have been?
Yeah, I mean, Warren Moon was awesome, and the thing I'm always astounded by is when I finally got to meet Warren Moon, I was like, God, he's huge. He's just giant hands, just a big man. I'll tell you, the first NFL game I ever covered professionally,
Yeah.
Lambeau Field, Warren Moon and the Vikings against Brett Favre and the Packers.
Wow.
Yeah. Chris Carter, Reggie White,
That's
Leroy
awesome.
Butler. I mean, the field was loaded with Hall of Famers.
That's
Loaded with
amazing.
Hall of Famers. Yeah. And I told Warren that when he came here with the number
With
one
Cam
thing,
Ward, yeah.
I was like, hey, first game I ever covered. He's like, there were a lot of Hall of Famers that game. I'm like, oh, you're damn right there were, Warren. It was unbelievable.
That's why you remember it.
Yeah. Yeah.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll get to your phones when we come back. Also, maybe an upset brewing in Olympic hockey. We'll talk about that as well. Final hour coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up. 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Final hour on your Wednesday morning. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Hour number 3, we start by taking a check-in over in Milan. Canada just tied it with Czechia.
All right.
Nathan McKinnon scored.
He's okay.
About midway through the second period. Yeah, Nate McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, their centers are fine.
They showed it early.
Macklin Celebrini.
The Chechens are going after Sidney Crosby. They're saying, listen, old man, if you're going to play, you're going to get hit.
I think Crosby just went to the locker room.
Yeah, they hit him over and over and over and over and over again.
I saw the other day, and I'm sure it doesn't hold true anymore, but the top 6 point getters in the Olympics through the group stages, all number 1 overall picks.
Sidney Crosby,
Macklin Celebrini, Connor McDavid.
Okay.
I'll have to look. There was one that I didn't realize from Slovakia that was a number 1 overall pick recently.
Okay.
He's 21 years old. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name.
No.
But yeah, it's funny. You draft guys number 1. Usually they end up being pretty good.
Yeah, there's a reason the Penguins, Blackhawks, and Lightning have all those cups.
How are we feeling about the game today? U.S. and Sweden.
I'm nervous.
I'm a little nervous too.
We've started a little slowly.
Yes, it's tough to say you're disappointed when none of those games were ever really in question at the end.
No, but
right?
I don't want them to be that close early. I want us to come out and establish our dominance.
Right. That's what I was hoping for. Like, you got to see France, like Canada beat France 10-2, and we didn't get one of those performances from the U.S. team.
Yeah.
They were all comfortable wins,
Mm-hmm.
but none of them were all that confidence inspiring.
Well, none of them said we are clearly better than everyone else.
Right. And you still win your group. You are the number 2 seed heading into the quarterfinals here. You end up facing Sweden. And out of the 4 teams that you could have faced that came out of that play-in round yesterday, I think Sweden's the one you probably wanted the least. It's just the way that the bracket worked out, but you got to face a team full of NHLers instead of
their whole team is NHL players.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not going to be easy.
Like Switzerland and Czechia and Germany, like they've got NHL players. They've got good NHL players.
Yeah.
Like Germany's got Leon Draisaitl.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not all NHL players.
No.
And that's what Sweden basically is.
Yes. And look, the Europeans have always played well together. I mean, that's just something. I mean, they've always played well together. And you expect them to play well together again. And so, we're going to have to play well for 3 periods. We are. I mean, if we have a stink period, it could cost us the game.
Jeremy Swayman cannot be in net for this one. That performance against Denmark in the first period was not good.
The Danes in the battle for Greenland, came to play.
I get weird things happen. Like sometimes you don't see a puck or it takes a weird hop. Giving up a goal from the red line is just unacceptable.
Well, moment may have been too big for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it that way, but Olympic Games might have been too big for him.
Yeah.
And you find out.
And I would expect it's going to be Ottinger in net today for the U.S. But I would love to see a good start. As Ricky says on the text line, USA starts games like the Preds. You need to come out, see if you can get two goals in the first period.
Well, the Miracle on Ice team trailed in every game. And so maybe they're following the Herb Brooks blueprint.
Right. They're wearing the Miracle jerseys, and they were like, you know what? Let's see if we can do it too.
We're going to trail every game.
It's too easy for us being in a group with Latvia, Denmark, and Germany. Let's see if we can fall behind and work our way back. The collision course for Canada and the U.S. is set up. I mean, it's there. Canada, if they
2-2 right now.
It's 2-2. If Canada can get by Czechia, they'll play the winner of Finland and Switzerland tomorrow.
So Finland.
I don't know.
Okay.
Roman Josi.
Look, the Finns beat Italy 3-0.
I know. I would guess it's going to be Finland. So
Switzerland beat Italy 3-0.
Right. Yeah. So Finland and Canada, possible semi-match.
That's big time.
And then the U.S. and Slovakia. And
that's not easy.
Slovakia.
No, man, the Slovaks can play.
They dominated Germany this morning.
They did.
In the 5 a.m.
Yeah.
game. 6-2 was the final
Yep.
in that one.
So like it's not a cakewalk for us to get there. I think like everybody who's just penciled in USA Canada, look at this game. It's 2-2.
right. It would be crazy if Canada lost in
Yeah.
the quarterfinals.
Yeah. When was the last time they didn't win the gold medal?
Let's see. Because they won the last two where there wasn't NHL players, right?
I don't know.
And then
Why did we get away from NHL players?
I think it was the owners didn't want to risk losing them.
Players, okay.
Right.
Like Kevin Fiala.
Yeah,
Start of the
that was the conversation was, I mean, you could lose a key piece of a playoff team not playing for your team.
It's better for the game.
Let's see. All right. Golds over the last few years. Finland actually won it
Okay.
4 years ago.
When there were no NHL players.
Right. No
Okay.
NHL players. They beat the Russian Olympic Commission.
Oh, okay.
Then 2 years ago, or 2 Olympics ago, 2018, it was the Olympic athletes from Russia who beat Germany.
Okay.
And again, no Olympic or no NHL players there.
Okay.
Canada won in 2014, 2010, and 2002. Sweden won in 2006.
So if we weren't using NHL players now, our team would actually be much more competitive than it used to be.
Right, because our juniors teams are
they're
good.
Yeah, they're very good.
Very good. So
So many more kids. Like I grew up in Chicago, and a handful of kids played hockey growing up. There is club hockey everywhere in the Chicago area now.
Yeah.
All over. There are high school teams. It's everywhere.
I think hockey is definitely a growing youth sport.
Yep.
Like I hear about way more kids who play hockey than when I was growing up. And like Northern Virginia, where I grew up, isn't exactly a hotbed for hockey.
Yeah.
But it was like you'd have a handful of kids who are like, oh, that guy plays hockey. That's a little bit strange. Now it is a much more widespread thing of that's a sport that guys go play.
You've got teams everywhere here.
Right. And the Preds have done a really nice job of trying to promote hockey in this area.
Well, they built 2 rinks.
Right.
So.
That'll help. 615-737-1025 is the phone number.
3, actually, if you go count the Clarksville.
Right. Yeah. F&M Bank. We will keep an eye on this Canada-Czechia game. It is still 2-2, a minute 15 left to go.
They're not backing down.
There is a delayed penalty on Czechia here. So Canada's about to go on the power play.
They're cheating.
Which is we'll see. Maybe they're able to take the lead heading into the third period. But right now, 2-2. We'll keep an eye on that. The U.S. taking on Sweden in their quarterfinal matchup coming up just after 2 p.m. today, seeing if they can move on to the semis where they would face Slovakia. 615-737-1025. We'll keep talking hockey. Also, NSC started a new season last night
in Champions Cup play.
Yes, taking on Ottawa, right?
Yes, Atletico Ottawa.
Yes.
And they played in Hamilton, Ontario.
And I heard there was a great traveling fan base that made their way out.
There was no one in the stands. And when I say no one, there was no one in the stands. They were playing at Tiger Cat Stadium.
Yeah.
And there was no one there. And I just throw up my hands and say, why? Why were they playing there?
It does not make a whole lot of sense to move a home game
6 hours.
6 hours away.
Yeah. No, it would be like, hey, Nashville SC is going to go play in St. Louis.
Yeah.
They're going to play them in St. Louis. Who's going to go watch and play Ottawa in St. Louis? You might get
some just soccer fans who want to go see a game. But yeah, you're right. You're not going to get many people traveling for that type of game, especially in February, where it's going to be
in Ottawa
freezing.
Or Hamilton. Yes, it was 30 degrees last night.
615-737-1025. We will get Cory's thoughts on NSC, more Olympics, and Cory will have to get out of here after this next segment to get over to the press conference today. Brian Dable and Gus Bradley officially being introduced. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Few more segments on this Wednesday morning. Cory, we got one more segment with you because
Yes.
I got to make your way over. Brian Dable, Gus Bradley being introduced there.
He didn't hear the bump music.
Bald guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that song had to be written on a napkin. I mean, seriously. You know, that's what, like, Vanilla Ice, whenever they ask him about, like, Ice Ice Baby and Go Ninja, he's like, yeah, I wrote those on a napkin. Cherry Pie is another one.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Had to be written in a napkin. Can you imagine the guy who comes into the studio the next morning? Guys, I wrote something last night. It's awesome. It's going to be a hit. It's poetry. She's my cherry pie.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's get a riff for that. There are things that are tough sells in life, and apparently that wasn't one of them. And it's still getting played today,
Right.
On
I'm responsible for getting Cory to go off on two separate tangents.
Yeah, there we go.
Just by the bump music.
Parker, you've done a nice job. Usually we comment mostly on the music when TD's in here, and we'll have TD on tomorrow. But Cory, we've gotten some good conversations about the music from Cory today.
Yeah. I brought up, I got to bring up Vanilla Ice. So, by the way, did you see the video of RFK and Kid Rock working out together on Twitter?
I did not see this. I'm sure it was epic, and probably most people thought it was AI, but this is the world we live in.
Okay, this is not a political comment. All right. Who works out in blue jeans with no shirt on? I mean, that's like a prison.
My wife's dad does that.
That's like a prison yard thing.
Way.
Isn't it?
I wish I was lying. He's 70 and he still works out, but he wears blue jeans. And then I've also caught him taking a nap in blue jeans.
But no, he's working out in blue jeans and no shirt.
Oh, no. Okay. He doesn't do that.
I mean, that's like I said, that's what you do at the prison yard.
Yeah. I've never worked out in jeans.
No,
I've never worked out with no shirt. I've definitely never considered doing both.
Yeah.
So
it's just weird.
It's very strange.
And then, to see Kid Rock with the whatever his title is with the government, Health and Human Services or whatever.
Who would have thought that you'd ever say that sentence out loud?
It's something. It's something.
Canada and Czechia tied at 2 after 2 periods.
Wow.
So
there's some
hand
wringing going on right now in Montreal and Toronto.
And in Milan, it looked like there was a lot of Canadian fans there. They erupted when Nathan McKinnon tied the game.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of Labots going on right now.
20 minutes to go. Can Canada avoid the huge upset and move on to the semifinals? We'll keep an eye on it.
Dave Pasternak playing for Czechia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Czechia and Slovakia are legit.
I know. We were talking earlier about if they could still be one nation, they'd be a power.
They would be trouble.
Right.
They would be trouble.
I think we'd be talking about U.S., Canada, Czechoslovakia.
Finland,
that's
Sweden.
your 3.
Yeah, big 5.
Yeah. U.S. and Sweden coming up 2:10 Central Time today.
And I'm nervous.
Yeah. Finland and Switzerland is coming up in just a little bit, actually. I think it actually might be going on right now.
Okay.
11:10. So just underway between Finland and Switzerland, the UC versus Yossi matchup out there in Milan. And don't forget, Smashville Live tonight, 6 o'clock, right here on 102.5 The Game. Barry Trott's going to be the guest. So we'll get to hear from the Preds GM. Before we let you go, Cory, yesterday, I know you cover Nashville SC very closely. They started a new year up there in Ottawa. What were your thoughts on the way that game played out? A 2-0 victory for the boys in gold.
First off, ridiculous that the game was played in Hamilton when they were playing Ottawa. I cannot say that enough. Okay. I haven't had anyone explain to me the why. Whatever the why is dumb. Also dumb is that I had to watch the game in analog.
Yeah.
It was on FS2 and I had to watch it in analog. And I know, well, if you had this or whatever, you could stream it. Come on, man. I'm at work. I got TV. All right. I just want to watch the game. I mean, it's not 1994. All right. I don't want to watch it in analog. Okay. So I watched the game in analog. Look, predictably, BJ Callahan played his youngsters. I mean, because basically the Canadian Premier League kind of USL like, and so they should be able to beat them. But it was a struggle. And whenever they play a USL level type team, those teams pack it in defensively, and that's what Ottawa did.
Yeah.
And so now the youngsters did have chances to score. Ahmed Kassim had chances to score. You saw a lot of hands on head last night, like, oh, I should have scored. And so, they could have had 5-6 goals, last night. But, they attacked aggressively. Ryan Schwake did not face a lot of shots in that. They did bring on Sam Surridge, Hani Mukhtar, and Christian Espinoza in the last 20, 30 minutes, and you saw a dramatic difference with the skill level with those guys. You started to see like what Espinoza to Surridge looked like, and it was like, that's nice. That's nice. I mean, that's 3 dudes. Okay. That's 3 dudes. And also they brought in Nahar as well. And Nahar is a dude as well. So that's 4 dudes. Now they almost gave up the game tying goal in the last minute of regulation.
Yeah.
Josh Bauer saved their bacon on the goal line and came up with the block. So, he played a lot. Jack Mayer was the team captain. And he played a lot, and those guys are going to be critical players. Matt Corcoran, who's going to played a lot. Eddie Tagseth didn't play last night.
Yeah.
So, you look, there's it like I said, it's tough because it was a lot of young guys. Rubens Pasius scored the first goal. His first goal as a Nashville SC member. He's a guy who scored like 30 goals playing in the Canadian League.
Yeah.
And then last year, I think he played USL in Tampa and scored like 18.
Gotcha.
And so he scored. And it was a nice goal.
Yeah.
And so it was good to see him get on the board. That's what he's getting paid to do. And so these guys will likely get another shot in game 2 here in Nashville. And we'll see how much the starters, play in that one. The team opens MLS play this weekend against New England.
Yep.
And you'll see more of those guys will start in that game because the points start adding up now. And you don't want to play Inter Miami in the first round again.
Yes.
Okay. So every point matters. There's no warm up. There's no, oh, well, they take the draw in this one. They're at home. They're the superior team. They need to win.
And it's going to be cold. Not super cold, but cold.
What's the forecast?
Low is 33 on Saturday, high of 59. So I'd guess 7:30 kick, probably 40 degrees.
After playing in Hamilton.
Right. That's true. It'll feel balmy.
It'll be great
to them.
It'll be great.
And am I correct in saying that I think Nick Frazier mentioned this, that if Nashville is to beat Ottawa in this 2-round aggregate, they face Miami in the next round?
I don't know. He could be right. I haven't looked that far ahead. It is aggregate, so they go into the home game with a 2-0 lead.
Right. So as long as they win or lose by less than 2, they would move on.
Yeah.
Let's see the bracket because I believe that was the case.
It's a 5-round tournament. Okay, so you get to 4 rounds, and it's 4 rounds of aggregate games, and if you win this tournament, the Champions Cup. We win a trophy. It would be the second trophy, but you get an automatic entry into the 29 Club World Cup.
Okay.
And so that's really what you're playing for.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yes, that's a very big deal. There are 27 teams in the Champions Cup. 9 of them are from the MLS, and there's a variety of ways to get in. Winning Inter Miami's in because they won the MLS.
Yes.
Nashville's in because they won the Open Cup. I think Philadelphia is in based on their finish in the standings.
Yes, there were 5 teams that were preceded and did not have to play in this first round. One of them is Miami. And yes, if Nashville beats Ottawa, they will face Inter Miami in the round of 16.
And again, but you don't know who's going to play. You don't know who's going to play. I mean, because we're in MLS play. So, how important is it to Inter Miami? That's a very good point. Does Messi start? Or does he just come in the last 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah, see if he can get a goal. And
or hey, we need a goal. Let's bring him in.
Yeah.
Because that would be my guess. Because, we're early in the season here and already facing congestion in the schedule. And they, guys are just getting into shape.
Right. It's going to pick up quick. Got a game Saturday. Then Ottawa returns next Tuesday, and then back on the road to face Dallas next Saturday. So lots of games early on in the season for Nashville SC.
Well, because you got 2 extras.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 2 games that you normally wouldn't play.
Right. Lots of thoughts on the text line about the working out in
Jeans?
Yeah.
No shirt?
8586 says, I work out in no pants and a jean shirt. So he went the opposite way.
A
And
jean jacket, a denim jacket.
9777 wanted to correct you that they don't have jeans in prison. So there you go. Good
The
thought
khakis.
from the text line.
Khakis and no shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Corey, big thanks for coming in. As always, we'll let you get over to the press conference
Yeah.
and we'll do it again next week.
All right. Yeah. No, hey, thanks for having me on. Thanks for letting me get out. It's been fun. I'm glad we got to disagree on some stuff. It's always more fun.
Yeah, of course. I feel like there's one topic a week that we find a way to debate on. So it was fun to argue about Tua Tagovailoa.
He's on TV right now.
There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which?
Oh,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
showing
Throwing to
Tyreek.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, where's he going?
Not here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Corey Curtis, always great to have him on. We'll do it again next week when we come back. We'll talk a little bit about the Titans press conference today. Brian Daboll, Gus Bradley, also getting ready for Vols and Vanderbilt on Saturday. But first, they both have games tonight. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Coming right back. You're on Next Man Up. Next man up, 1025, the game. Jake Lyman, Parker Kelly with you for a couple more segments here. Chase and Big Joe are coming up at the top of the hour. Big thanks to Cory Curtis for joining us for most of the show today, but the Titans introducing their coordinators later on in about 30 minutes, so he had to get over there to hear from Brian Daboll and Gus Bradley. I am excited to hear what they have to say, specifically Brian Daboll about Cam Ward, his plan for developing the young quarterback, what that looks like in the offseason. Parker, I think, and as somebody who works coaching quarterbacks and is a former quarterback, your thoughts on maybe asking Brian Daboll about how he's going to work in that marriage of coaching Cam Ward personally when he's in the building, but also giving direction to Cam Ward's personal quarterback coach, who I'm sure he's working with throughout the offseason when he's away from Nashville.
Yeah, I actually don't know how much contact the Brian Daboll and Cam Ward's personal quarterback coach will have. I don't know how much connection or communication between the two there will be, but it's one of the most important, if not the most important relationship in the building, because this is the guy who you drafted number 1 overall, is going to be your franchise. We all know that if Cam Ward doesn't work out, likely Robert Saleh is not going to work out either. You're hiring Daboll to be the head coach of the offense.
Right.
And 2, that the Giants would have absolutely, if they had the opportunity, would have taken Cam Ward last year, 100%. Yeah. So we know that Daboll really likes Cam Ward as it stands. So that's something that's going to come up, but you also want to know the scheme. You want to know, the different things like that. So all of that's going to come up at some point, and I'm excited to see what he says.
Yeah, we'll hear from Brian Daboll, Gus Bradley later on today, coming up in about 30 minutes. And Brian Daboll, I think, is just as important as Robert Saleh when it comes to the hires that the Titans made. You have to have somebody who is going to run this offense, develop your quarterback. And so, yeah, Robert Saleh is going to have his hands in a whole lot more areas of the team. But if this team is going to get back to being a contender, it's going to start with your young quarterback, and Brian Daboll just as important to his development as anybody. So we'll hear from them coming up at noon. And me and TD will have a chance to react to that tomorrow. So excited for that. Coming up on Saturday, Vandy and the Vols. And we have spent some time on this game every day of the week so far, but don't want to overlook too much the games tonight. Vanderbilt at Missouri, 8 o'clock tip right here on 102.5 The Game. And Tennessee is hosting Oklahoma. For Tennessee, I look at that as a game that they should win. I think they need to win if they're going to get to where they hope to go in terms of SEC seeding, being in contention for a possible double bye in the SEC tournament, and also moving up seed lines, currently projected around that 5-6 line in the NCAA tournament. You can't have bad losses on your resume. And as we've seen with Vanderbilt, losing to Oklahoma at home right now, that's not a great loss. And it would be the same for Tennessee. So that's one they have to take care of business tonight. Vanderbilt and Missouri is a very interesting game tonight. Missouri is in that thick of things towards the top of the SEC. And Vanderbilt, I think, has a 1-game lead on Missouri right now. And again, the double bye is so important if you're going to make a run in the SEC tournament. Playing 3 games in 3 days versus 4 games in 4 days makes a huge difference, especially on the men's side, where you got to turn around and go right to the NCAA tournament the next week. Right now, Vanderbilt is 8-4, tied with Alabama and Tennessee for 3rd place in the conference. Kentucky and Texas 8-5. Missouri is 7-5. So big one tonight out there in Como. I'm excited to see if Vanderbilt can bring some energy on the road and go get a big win to bring some momentum back to Nashville to face Tennessee.
I know you and Cory were joking about, Columbia not being one of the ideal spots in the SEC, one of those places to compete, but this will be a great test for Vanderbilt because Missouri is on the outside looking in. I think Lunardi had them as either one of the last 4 in or one of the first 4 out. So somewhere in that picture, regardless, they need more quad 1 opportunities. So this is an opportunity for them to host a ranked team in their building tonight, and for Vanderbilt to prove that they can get a quad 1, quad 2 victory on the road as well. But Missouri, they're not the cream of the crop in the SEC, but they're not a bad team, and they have size. Mark Mitchell's a 6'9" guard. They have a 7-footer on their team in Sean Phillips. So there's going to be plenty of size that could give Vanderbilt trouble if they're able to overcome that on the road, it's a very impressive victory for Vanderbilt.
No, not at all. Not going to be an easy win on the road. You're right. Missouri actually, according to Joe Lunardi right now, would be the first team out. So every game like this for Missouri is huge to try and push themselves into the field of 68. Right now, according to Joe Lunardi, they would be the first team looking from the outside in. One thing I wanted to get to today, Parker, though, on this Tennessee Vanderbilt game on Saturday that we haven't touched on at all, Jalen Carey coming back to Memorial Gym. I'm very interested to see what the fan reaction is to Jalen Carey, because it was a year ago when Vandy beat Tennessee in Memorial. And I want to say Jalen Carey was all over Twitter saying, we don't do orange. And then, of course, he transfers and goes to Knoxville. I think there's going to be some boos, maybe some chants. It is not going to be a friendly atmosphere for Jalen Carey returning to Memorial Gym.
Oh, dude, you know they're going to boo him. You know they are.
I know they're going to boo him. I think it might go further than that. You might get some not FCC safe chants going on in that gym as well.
100%. 100%. Knowing the frats at Vanderbilt like I do, I'm sure that'll be the case. But with Jalen Carey, it just proves that, this sport can be so transactional from year to year. And this isn't an indictment on anything on Mark Byington or Rick Barnes, but Jalen Carey followed Mark Byington from James Madison to Vanderbilt. And then a year later, he up and leaves and goes to Tennessee. So I'm not sure why he made that decision. As a Vols fan, I'm happy that he's on the team because he's been a great contributor off the bench. But going back to Memorial Gymnasium, a very tough place to play, Tennessee had such a rough time in Memorial last year. So I can only imagine it's going to be a raucous environment. And you throw Jalen Carey into the mix and it stirs the pot.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be sold out in Memorial Gym on Saturday. And we said it earlier in the week, there will be some orange in there. Tennessee fans, they are a decent part of the population here in Nashville, so I'm sure there'll be plenty, but Vandy fans wanting to pack that place out for some Memorial magic. Games tonight across the SEC. Mentioned Tennessee hosting Oklahoma at 6. That one's on ESPN2. Vanderbilt on the road at Missouri, 8 o'clock on the SEC Network. And again, you can listen right here on 102.5 The Game. Arkansas, Alabama is an interesting one. Two teams towards the top of the SEC standings as well. That's 6 o'clock on ESPN. Do you have a read on that one, Parker? Calipari and Nate Oates going at it?
I don't, and that's why if I'm a bettor, I'm staying away from that game. But with Arkansas, they have the talent to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. And if you get a win on the road at Coleman Coliseum against a ranked Alabama team, that's certainly a step in the right direction. But two, it's also dependent on what Alabama team that you're going to get. You know the saying, live and die by the three, and that's exactly what Alabama does under Nate Oates. That's right. their style of play. So if they come out of the gates and they're clicking, it's going to be a long night for Arkansas. But if you get them to miss a couple early three-pointers and then that stretch continues into halftime, that's Arkansas' sweet spot. So right now I'm leaning Arkansas, but I do not have a good read on it.
Yeah, going to be a fun one. It's a busy night of college hoops across the SEC. Again, Vanderbilt is on the road at Missouri, Tennessee, hosting Oklahoma. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you have any thoughts, last call for phones here as we've got one more segment. Update from out in Milan. Man, this is a good one. Good one in the quarterfinals. Canada and Czechia tied at 2 with 15 minutes to go. Sidney Crosby went to the locker room. I have not seen him back out there since. Actually, maybe that's him right there. I saw a 7. It might have been Connor McDavid, actually, in the 97. So, interesting stuff. Canada, the heavy favorite to at least reach the gold medal game, the favorite to win it. Can Czechia pull off the upset? We will keep an eye on that. Also, I had some college baseball thoughts quickly that we can get to at the end of the show here as we wrap up on a Wednesday. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Jake Lyman, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Final segment on this Wednesday. Cory Curtis was with us for most of the show today. Always great stuff with Cory. He is on his way over to the Titans facility where Brian Dable and Gus Bradley will be introduced in about 15 minutes. So excited to hear from them tomorrow on the show. Teron Davenport is with us from 9 to noon. So we will get all of his thoughts on what the coordinators had to say. I also, Parker, I hope everybody out there doesn't think that I'm like completely pushing for the Tua trade to try and quote unquote buy this draft pick. But I think it is like something you at least consider. I want to get TD's thoughts on it because I feel like TD is very level-headed when it comes to the roster building aspect of it. I'm excited to hear what he has to say. So we'll do that tomorrow with TD. Also, Jacqueline Mwenentanda is going to make her return to the program tomorrow.
How about
from
that?
Vandy Women's Basketball. So they've got the day off. So we'll get TD, a Vandy Women's Basketball player, to talk to towards the end of the show tomorrow. So all that's coming up. To wrap up the show today, do want to quickly update you. Time is ticking down in Milan. It is still tied 2-2 in this quarterfinal game. Are the Canadians on the ropes? Next goal might win at this point. So we are keeping an eye on that. I will let you know if anything develops before we get off the air in a couple of minutes here. But I did want to talk some college baseball because Vanderbilt, I know they're 2-2 on the year. Lost a tight one against a top 10 TCU game last Friday, then blew out Texas Tech on Saturday, lost by 10 to Oklahoma State Sunday, and then a run rule win against Eastern Michigan in a midweek yesterday. They play again today against Eastern Michigan. This Vandy team has some pop. Like the complaints around Vanderbilt baseball over the last couple of years, specifically under Tim Corbin, has been that the big bats just aren't there, and you don't get the big swings. The pitching has been really good. The defense is always really good, and you're able to manufacture runs with the way that Tim Corbin coaches this team. But the big swings, the power hasn't been there. I think they got it this year. Brody Johnston has 5 home runs in 4 games. Colin Barzy hit 3 home runs in the first game of the season against TCU. Braden Holcomb's got pop. They've brought in some transfers who can hit the ball out of the yard. I'm excited to watch this Vandy team. The pitching needs to be a focus. They have to develop starting pitching for the weekends because they don't have names that significantly stand out when you look at this team of like, all right, that's your weekend rotation. But I think if they can get serviceable pitching, this lineup might be good enough to put Vanderbilt back in the conversation to host when the NCAA tournament rolls around. And if you put yourself in that spot, you're giving yourself a chance to get back to Omaha.
Yeah, and it's so early. And to be honest, I haven't watched any Vanderbilt baseball this week, but I did see their weekend outcomes did not go favorably in the Shriners Children's. See a video though of Colin Barzy hitting a home run, and I'm like, well, picking up right where he left off.
Those balls were absolutely crushed.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw the home runs he hit in Arlington. He obliterated all 3 of those. And again, Brody Johnston, Braden Holcomb, they've got some guys in that lineup. 13-2 win, hit 4 home runs last night against Eastern Michigan. Now, I know it's Eastern Michigan, but it's just good to see the bats coming alive, especially early on in the year. Another one tonight against Eastern Michigan, 4:30 p.m. first pitch. You can listen on 94.9 The Fan. And then over the weekend, 3 games against Marist. First home weekend for the Vandy boys. And then they will head out to Las Vegas for another one of those round-robin tournaments in a couple of weeks to take on UC Irvine, Arizona, and Oregon. So you're right. It's super early in the baseball season, and you don't know what a team is probably until, I would say, late March, early April, once you get a couple of SEC weekends under their belt. But I do like to see that the Vandy bats, the middle of the order bats that you expected to have big years, are starting fast. And you need that from some of your guys. Brody Johnston, Andrew Allegretto, when we had him on, and I believe we're going to try and have him on later this week as well. He said that he thinks by the time Brody Johnston's done here, he could break the Vanderbilt home run record. And like,
wow,
honestly, I don't think it's that far-fetched given what he did in his freshman season and what he's doing right now. So
yeah, you continue this up and you stay for 4 years, absolutely, I can see that happening.
So just quick thoughts there on Vandy baseball. Is baseball season well underway now? Full weekend in the books, home weekend coming up. And I really can't believe how quick it gets into SEC play. Like we're less than a month away from LSU, the reigning national champs, coming to Nashville to open the SEC season against Vanderbilt. So it's gonna go quicker than you think it will. But like what I've seen from the Vandy Bats so far, you had the 1-run game against Oklahoma State on Sunday, but I do like what we've been able to see from some of those big bats for Vanderbilt. Couple more minutes here. Again, update over there in Milan. Still no changes in the score. It's 2-2. Under 10 minutes to go. Would be a huge upset with the U.S. getting ready to face Sweden later on this afternoon. I haven't checked the score in the Finland-Switzerland game. Let's see. It is 2-0 Switzerland. Maybe not great for UC Saros. Gave up 2 goals late in the first period. So it's 2-0 Switzerland. Maybe an upset brewing there. The winner of that game, it all depends on who wins this one. But if Canada was to win, they would face the winner of that game between Finland and Switzerland. So Olympic hockey rolling on. The U.S. starting their run to hopefully a gold medal coming up against Sweden at 2:10. Coming up in about 10 minutes, Titans introducing Brian Daboll and Gus Bradley. Brian Daboll, I think, is going to get the headlines here, but there are things I'd like to hear from Gus Bradley, and I think you can dive a little bit deeper into some of the scheme fits with him. I'm kind of hoping, and again, he hasn't been able to work with Tavondre Sweat or Femi Oladipo or some of these guys, but I would like to hear from Gus Bradley on just how he feels the current construction of this roster fits with what Robert Saleh and he are going to try and do, because there are some awkward fits based on what we've seen in Robert Saleh defenses in the past. I think Sweat is the big one. So I do hope there's a question in there about Tavondre Sweat and the role that the Titans foresee him in with a new regime, a new coaching staff here in Nashville.
Yeah, and Paul said this earlier on the morning show. The main question is going to be, okay, what exactly does your job entail? Because I feel like that's exactly what Nick Holes, like we wanted to know from Nick Holes. He wasn't calling plays, so what exactly did you do? And I think that's what we all want to know with Gus Bradley. We'll know that he'll play a pivotal role in the game planning each week. While he may not be calling plays, he'll still have a major say in that, but also too the scheme, the fit, how certain guys that are currently on the roster, how they'll fit into the 3-4, what they might do in the draft if they need more depth at edge rusher, which they do. I'm sure that all those things will come up.
Yeah, it's coordinator press conferences are not exactly the most interesting. Oh, the Czechs, they scored. Oh, it's 3-2.
Miracles, baby.
Wow.
Come on. 7:42 remaining.
They are fired up out there in Milan. The Czechs just scored to go up 3-2, 7:40 left to go. Canada is on the ropes. A 3-on-1. Canada got a really good chance at the other end of the ice, and then the Czechs counterattacked into a 3-on-1 and finished. Wow. Maybe a massive upset brewing in Milan. This is just a great pass. High slot, checks up 3-2. Wow. I mean, I said it during the break, Parker, to you and Brandon Bigsby, who's back there, that I think my ideal outcome for this Olympics is the U.S. beating Canada in the gold medal game. The second best outcome, of course, is the U.S. beating anybody else. And that might be the most likely scenario where the U.S. wins the gold medal. So unbelievable stuff going on there out in Milan. And I'm sure that Chase and Big Joe will be keeping an eye on this as well when they come on. Man,
yeah, because
stuff.
U.S. Canada would probably draw the most attention and eyeballs to the actual game if it was gold medal. But we will not complain about Canada losing early if that happens to be the case.
Agreed. That's kind of where I am. Is I really wanted to see Canada and the U.S., but if somebody had to lose early, I would be very glad for it to be Canada. The Canadians are putting the pressure on now. We will see if they're able to break through. It is 3-2 Czechia, 3-2 with 7 minutes to go. Canada nearly scored there. I have a feeling that the I don't know who the Czechs goaltender is, but he's going to have to stand on his head to stop this game from being tied. Wow. All right, so keep it here. We'll give you updates throughout the day on the Olympic hockey. Canada and Czechia in a good one right now.
Do you think we can get Brian Daboll and Gus Bradley to push their presser
Right,
back
can they
a little
push
bit?
it until this game is over? Because
got
that's
6
coming up
minutes left.
in about 5 minutes too. So lots to keep an eye on here throughout the rest of the day. Keep it tuned right here on 102.5 The Game. Again, tomorrow, TD is with us for the full show for a TD Thursday. We will react to the press conferences with the coordinators today. Also, we'll get his thoughts on some of the roster building questions for the Titans as we move slowly towards the offseason. But that will do it for us. Again, man, I'm fired up. I cannot wait to see how this game wraps up. Right now, Canada down 3-2 late in the third period in the quarterfinals. We'll be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow, but keep it right here. Chase and Big Joe are coming up next here on 102.5 The Game.